Test, test,
Hello.
test. Hear me well?
Yeah. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. It's nice to have you on board. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's AMA talk.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So how are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. It's one of those days. It's the most commercial day of the week, so you
Yeah.
know how it is.
All
You know
right.
this.
So good afternoon. Good morning, everybody. And to anyone listening to us right now, it's AMA talk with someone from Bike ID project. So briefly before we start, I would love you to introduce yourself to us, please.
Uh, Thank you for having me. My name is Bartek Czerwiński. I'm the COO of Bike ID.
All right, that's nice to hear you from you. All right, so briefly for those hearing about bike ID for the first time, bike ID. It sounds strange to a lot of people, including me actually. The first day I saw when I saw it that we are our space we'll be talking with bike ID, I was like, what's bike ID? What's bike ID? So briefly for those hearing for the first time, just like me, can you tell us, a little bit about Bike IB. What exactly is BIN and what inspires its creation?
That's a great question, and thanks for asking. So in Bike ID, we are giving every bicycle an identity. So it's similar to the VIN numbers in cars. You're probably aware of these. Um, Unlike cars, bicycles do not have a global unique number. You have frame numbers, you have all sorts of different identifiers, but it's not universal. So that's what we are trying to bring. And the difference between VIN, which was introduced in 1956, back then hardly anyone had a computer, to introducing this type of solution right now is that bike ID is writable, so you can store information against it. You don't need third party, which brings a layer of trust, and that's the reason why we're building this to bring a layer of trust, a permanent digital identity. Um, we're building it because the industry never created a solution like this. And even though the industry never created a solution like this, it badly needs one because it's a blocker to many solutions. But most importantly, the cycling industry is in deep trouble. We're talking not only the manufacturers but also the riders. The theft is everywhere, and if a bike gets stolen, it's really hard to first identify the owner, and secondly, it's super easy to resell it because nobody knows that the bicycle is stolen right now. And the bikes, especially e-bikes, are super expensive. So a lot of money on the line.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. So now, you just mentioned in case it gets stolen. I would like to understand, you know, to you, how big is the global problem of bike theft? Because yeah, when you talk of bike theft, bike is expensive, just like you say, especially the e-bike, they are kind of expensive. So how big is this global problem of bike theft, and how exactly does bike ID plans to or how does it plans to address this challenge? When I was going to your website, I saw it make use of is it NFC? I don't really understand what that means also, and Carado blockchain. So maybe you would like to throw more light on that. How does bike ID directly um tries to overcome the global issue of bike theft?
Of course. So the problem is huge. Is ginormous. So you have millions of bicycles being stolen in Europe and globally everywhere. In the Netherlands, It's 700,000 bicycles stolen every year, so you can imagine. And mostly, the more expensive the bike, the better payoff for the thief, right? So the reward comes in, and the biggest problem is that those bikes never come back. So if the police find them in cache somewhere, they cannot identify who's the rightful owner. So it's really hard to return it. It's a problem for everybody. It's a problem for the industry because you have the gray zone, you have the black market, um, yeah, a lot of fraud, and then it's a problem for the society because you spend so much money on your bicycle, and now it gets stolen, and it's really hard to get it back because nobody knows that you are the rightful owner, right? So this is what we check. Now
Yeah.
you asked about NFC. Um, the way we are marking the bicycles is that on every bike we putting an NFC and an RFID tag. So RFID is put in the factory, and NFC goes on top of the frame. So there's two different ways. But now, just hear me out. It's not like we're gonna stop 100% of the theft. Okay, this is not something that stops theft, and that's it. It is
Okay.
just super hard to sell a bicycle that went through our platform, was registered, because the tag itself is just an interface, just a visual representation of the registration. Everything else, um, the the components, all of the frame, the fork, the even the saddle, the engine, the battery. If you're talking about e-bikes, they all have numbers, and those numbers are being stored alongside with the bike ID number which is the 24 character code that describes the bicycle. Now that's the public data. There's a lot of events that are happening along the way. We are also storing this. So imagine your identity. Your name is Kingsley, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So your identity is not your passport, really. Your identity are your fingerprints. It's your retina. It's people who you know, etc., etc. This is the whole network of identity, and this is exactly what we are providing, the kind of inherited identity. So yeah, it's you may somebody may steal the bicycle, but it's super hard to sell it. But also, um, because there is a police notification system built in, so if your bicycle gets stolen, it's just you press one button and you notify the nearest police station. They have to acknowledge this. They will send you a proof that you did, because now they digitally receive your proof of ownership, so then you can go back to the insurance company and claim your insurance.
All right. That's very lovely. That's lovely. At least it's a good initiative because it's going to help reduce the rate of bike theft. I love what our bike ID is building. Kudos to your team and you. You guys are doing quite amazing out there.
Thank
All right. So how does being cloud help police and authorities confine ownership or recover stolen bikes quickly?
Well, it's nice that you mentioned the Bing Cloud, because the Bing Cloud is the whole kind of a digital solution that's holding all this information. Um, the police would have access to some of the events, would have access to bicycle identity, would have access to the owner identity, if the bicycle is reported stolen. Um, so that's how it helps the police. Now, on the other hand, it also helps the municipalities. So, for instance, with the RFID tags, you go through certain RFID gate, and that's for example automating
Hello,
the
can you hear me?
bicycle park.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. So that's how it works.
All right.
Um,
That's
yeah,
beautiful.
we providing simply a network, a platform. Now, we are not a manufacturer of bike locks. We are not a manufacturer of AirTags, but we are making sure that if you are buying an AirTag and the manufacturer of this AirTag connects to our platform, we know we connect the identity with the device. And same story with the if you have a bike lock, the smart bike lock, you can connect it to the ID, and it makes the whole system very robust.
Okay, that's good. So, okay, this BIN system, does it work globally? For example, if a bike is registered in Europe, can it be verified here in Africa, or in Asia or any part of the continent?
Absolutely, it can be verified anywhere in Africa. It's just you tap the tag, and you tap the tag with your phone, and you see the status of the bicycle. You know what the bicycle is. Um,
Yeah.
but also, even if you do not have the tag because the thief would have removed the tag, you can enter any number. So, for instance, the frame number, and if the bicycle was registered with us, we would link it to the actual identity. So it's pretty straightforward. It's intended to be working globally. It's intended to be working everywhere. The main reason is that you will have those initiatives in many countries where even the police started marking bicycles, but it doesn't work. I mean, if a bicycle gets stolen in Belgium, you can sell it in Germany in 2 hours. Nobody cares because nobody knows that this is a stolen bicycle. So one standard, one registry, scan it everywhere.
All right, that's nice. That's nice. So, while I was going through your website made mention that every service performed on a bike is recorded digitally. So, how does this service history impact resale value? For example, if I want to buy a bicycle and I now scan the tag, and I go ahead to see the repair history. How many times the bike has been serviced, repaired, and all that. Don't you think it will have an impact on the resale value?
Um, it's the same as with the cars. If you have a car with a full service history and
Okay.
uh, and the proof of origin, even if you have a car with a warranty, that warranty is transferable. With the bicycle, it's not so much. 'Cause you bought the bicycle, and nobody knows that you did. It's just not there. So these are the factors. But most importantly, you have a trusted, verifiable source of information. So whenever a service happens on the bicycle, we record this fact either automatically via connected systems like ReadyBike, for instance, or the user can just take a picture of the repair order document and store it on the system, and you automatically recognize it. We hash it onto bike ID or proof of bike.
All right. That's nice. That's nice. Um. So, retailers already struggle with low margins in terms of selling out bikes. So, how does offering BNB activation increase profitability and customer loyalty?
Come again, please. Can you ask again?
Yeah, I said retailers they are struggling with low margin in terms of sales and all that, you know.
That's right.
So yeah, so how does offering the BIN activation increases profitability for the retailers and also customer loyalty? Yeah.
Look, Kingsley, this is actually the main reason why we are doing this.
Okay.
Because the industry is still struggling. The money is super tight at the moment. There's a wave of bankruptcies, um, and people are operating on very low margins. So the manufacturer will probably make 3% on the bike, 5% on the bike. It's not enough. Um, so there is a model of, I call it sell it and forget it, because when the bicycle is sold at the shop, you don't see what's happening after. So the manufacturers or the retailers are not able to offer extended service plans, extended warranty, bundled insurance, bundled leasing, and so on. Because if you don't know the identity of the asset, this is not possible or not efficient. So this is the, on one hand, we are bringing additional revenue to the manufacturers. On average, we think that over the life cycle of the bicycle, we are able to provide approximately 200 euros per bike to the manufacturer and the retailer. They will split it, obviously. But what we think that we are doing is the customer retention on steroids, because you can stay in touch with your customer. And that's why the big retailers are talking to us. That's why the big retailers want to work with us. Because when they sell a bicycle today, in 3 years' time, the customer is not going to come back. But if they have the customer identity, if they have the bicycle identity, if they're providing the customer with, say, service plan, they are in constant contact. So there is 50-60% more chance that you will come back and buy from the same provider. I'm bringing the 60% back from the automotive world, where if you are servicing your car with a certain dealer, the likelihood of buying a new car from that dealer is 60% higher than if you're not servicing the car with that dealer. So this is the analogy. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. So let us look at security, because security is always vital as far as any business is concerned. What type of life cycle data does the BIN cloud collect, and how does the brand use this for better production planning?
Oh, so these are just completely two separate questions. So let me start with the better production planning. If you know what's in the market, if you know real time what you're selling, it's easier for you to plan. Right now, the problem is that during COVID, bicycles were selling like crazy. Everybody wanted to get out of the house, so people started cycling, and the market grew probably 30% year over year. So the manufacturers started stocking up, and then market went back to normal. So today, a lot of manufacturers are still sitting on shit ton of parts that they bought 3 years ago, when they thought, okay, the market is going to go bonkers. So so that is the problem. And if you're able to see what's happening in the market in real time, you're more flexible. You can react to the market. You see that this type of bicycle is selling better. You can produce more of these bikes and so on. Right now, they are planning a year ahead of the season. So, for example, for the bicycles that will be sold in 2026, the orders were made last year. Crazy. Um, so yeah, so that's answering your question, right? And the security, you asked about security, right, Kinsley?
Yeah, security. How safe are these data that are collected?
Well, we first of all, we're trying to make sure that we are super compliant with all the regulations with regards to privacy and data security. We have three types of data. So we have the public data that sits in our AWS cloud. It's super secure. But then we have the events and the private information, and private information is um, sensible. And this we are sharding and pushing to Iagon. So it's sitting there in secure storage. Now remember that with GDPR, you have the right to forget, and that's why we chose to work with Iagon. Because if you're claiming a right to be forgotten, uh, I'm, as a business, I'm obliged to remove all the information that I'm storing about you. Um, and we have this possibility with Iagon. So that's why we chose to do so. And then everything everything stored that we keep, all the information, all the events, is then anchored on blockchain on Cardano in proof of bike, which is a Merkle tree with at least hashes of whatever information we have about the bicycle. So I think that's it. It can't get more secure than that.
All right, that's nice. That's nice. It's good to see that you guys are also taking security very serious. That's very nice. So you talk about you guys observe privacy regulation and all. So that brings me to my next question. How does Bike ID prefer brands for AU regulations like rights to repair and you know the battery passport?
That's pretty cool. That's a really cool question because um, for for right to repair to be executed, the identity of the bicycle or the ease of identifying what part goes into the bike is crucial and critical. So that's for one. Battery passport. The battery passport is coming into a wider regulation, which is digital product passport. And we've been working on this for probably um, 2 3 years now. Uh, DPP in general, and Bike ID for over a year. We've submitted our proposal to the European Commission. We're working closely with the regulators. We're working very closely with Cycling Industries Europe, which is the kind of organization that consists of all the manufacturers in Europe. So we are at the forefront of DPP regulations, and what we're doing is just falling right into that system. Can we break for 1 minute? I have
Yeah,
be
sure,
back in a
sure.
second.
All right. So while we are waiting for him to be back, ladies and gentlemen, this is I'ma talk with Bike ID. Bike ID. Of course, we all know that the bike industry, the bicycle industry, is really taking a huge step. Yeah. So we are looking at Bike ID is looking at ways to help cop bike theft globally by by giving out IDs to each bicycle. Once your bike has identity, it's easy to track. It's easy for you to, to have your bike in safe hands. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep following us. If you are listening or if you are just joining, you can of course follow Bike ID's Twitter handle for more information. You can check their websites, of
I'm back.
course, to learn more about Bike ID. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Nice to have you again. So, um, talking about you made mention of using Canado blockchain. So is there any future plans to integrate like future ownership for certificates, let's say NFTs?
Yes, well. First of all, not every bicycle deserves an NFT. The NFTs are quite expensive for in our business model. So bicycles. Let's say we're working with a company called Loca. Loca makes custom bicycles um, that have custom painting, custom paint job that was designed by emerging artists. And what we are now designing with Loca is a way to mint an NFT with the artwork of the bicycle that you're buying, and every single time this is being sold, then the artist gets some money for this. So I think it's a very nice way of giving back. Um, and I think definitely there's space, but like I said, not for every bicycle because you're talking when you're talking super expensive collectible bikes, yeah, if those bikes are being competitively used, yeah, for sure. But for every bicycle, NFT is not an option, not at least for now. But yeah,
All right. Thank you for that answer.
we are on
Yeah, you said
every
something.
bike on the blockchain.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So, so for an average cyclist, how easy is it to activate a BIN using the self-activation kit?
So we launched these self activation kits, or we call them B2C, bike IDs, bike ID kits. We launched them 3 months ago, and you can buy them in store or you can buy them online. Um, to activate it, you just simply register to tap your phone on the tag, put the tag on the frame, tap your phone, and then register. We will do everything automatically. So we will recognize the bicycle from the EN code. We will um, um, then create the bin number, register this and everywhere, and everything happens in the background. So the user does not have to be super technical or super tech savvy.
All right, that's good for the common man because the common man needs it very well. All right, so what happens if someone buys a second-hand bike with a BIN already registered? So can ownership be transferred easily?
Could you please repeat the question? It was a long question. I think there were two questions in one. Can you ask them again?
Okay, let me ask the question again. So I was saying, if someone should buy a second-hand bike, right, that has already been registered with a
Ah, yeah, yeah.
BIN,
The second time, the
yeah.
second
So can
bicycle,
ownership, yeah, yeah. So can ownership be transferred,
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
or does the person need to, buy a new register a new BIN, or can the previous registered BIN, can it be transferred?
Yeah, that's exactly the point. So if I register my bicycle and I'm selling you my bike, the identity of the bicycle is staying. It's just the proof of ownership is with somebody else. So this is for resale, but it's also for leasing. So let's say I'm leasing a bicycle, and at the end of the leasing term, I'm becoming the owner, not the bank, right? So the ownership works the
Yeah.
same way. But if I'm selling the bicycle to you, uh, all I have to do is again type my phone on the NFC tag, and then and enter your phone number. You will get a text message. Within the text message, you get a link. You click that link, and you register yourself, and then I confirm the transfer, and that's it. Job done. So it literally takes 10 seconds. And it's we just try to make everything that we do on Bike ID super simple and super easy for because it's all about
All right, that's good.
yeah.
That's great. That's great. So, um, looking at future perspective for bike ID, where do you see bike ID in the next 3 to 4 years as the cycling grows globally?
There's three kind of directions we'll be taking Bike ID. So direction number one, we're looking for global adoption. We will be growing.
Okay.
We go country by country in Europe right now, but we're planning America, so US and Canada in 2027 already, and then just keep growing because the manufacturers are just literally the response is phenomenal, especially from the manufacturers and retailers, but also the riders. So I think we are it. We are the standard. So that's one thing. But on the other hand, where I see bike ID, you know, it is. it's not working in isolation. So what we're trying to achieve, and we already having discussions with regulators, with a bunch of organizations. So what we're trying to do is to build a trusted micro mobility data, and we see our partnership with Cardano, and especially with Cardano Foundation, as pivotal to this happening. So you see, the digital product passport regulations are coming in, and they're coming in fast. Every bicycle, every scooter, um, every moped will need to have a digital ID. And what we are trying to ensure that we are the digital ID, and it is gonna be on Cardano. So that's the reason why we're working with we're working so hard right now to make sure that this happens.
All right, that's great. That's great. I love the plans. I love the amazing dreams for trying to keep bike safe out there in the global world. It's very beautiful hearing from you. So lastly, before we call it a day for this space,
Sure.
where can listeners go to register their bikes, explore the kits, or learn more about bike ID for people that might want to listen to the space later? Um,
Obviously, we are pretty active on X, so you can always go on X. Bike ID number is our X handle. Keep saying Twitter. Everybody keeps saying Twitter. Our X handle
okay.
is the bike ID number. And then our website. So you're always welcome to visit our website at bikeid.org. That's bikeid.org. And just read about what we are building, read about our partnerships, and you can go to Bike ID on Chain section of the website and read about what we're doing with Cardano. Um,
Okay.
we also published a white paper. So a very interesting thing about, just give me 2 minutes more. I'm just gonna say, because this partnership with Cardano and with the ecosystem with Cardano is extremely powerful, because literally what we wanted to do initially is to just register proof of bike on chain. That was it. We didn't know, like when we started, we didn't know the possibilities and the endless opportunity that actually lives in the ecosystem of Cardano. So right now we're activating plenty of products in on Cardano. We're working with Iagon. We're working with Charlie 3 oracles. We working with multiple different organizations, um, and I think the beauty of the Cardano is one, uh, the community around it, but secondly, it just works. It's stable, it's predictable, and there's a lot of great software. And just like we need a platform like Cardano, Cardano needs us. So just a parting note, we've submitted our Catalyst proposal, two proposals, one with Charlie 3. So if you are voting, go to the Catalyst application and search Bike ID. You'll find these proposals. The second proposal is more of an educational lobbying proposal to work with European regulators, with manufacturers on DPP alignment with Cardano. So yeah, if you can help, please do.
All right, that's good. I'll definitely check it out. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So it's nice hearing from you. We've come to the end of today's space. It's beautiful hearing about what bike ID is building out there. So finally, this is one beautiful question I love outside. It's just a question I love asking my guests on the show. So outside Web3, what if not Web3, what would you have been doing by now?
Sorry, come again?
Yeah, I said like this is a question I love asking my guests on the space.
Sure.
Like I just enjoy asking the question. Yeah. So outside Web3, what else? If not, if not working in the crypto space and stuff like that, what else would you have been doing?
See, I spent 15 years in automotive. I built software for manufacturers. I built software for companies, for dealers. I built companies. I sold companies in automotive space. So even if I wasn't doing even if I wasn't doing cycling, I would probably stay in automotive. There's still a lot to be done. Mobility is so exciting. Kingsley, if you were looking for something really cool, mobility, because this market is absolutely going through so many shifts. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of the most exciting areas. Um, so space exploration and mobility, for sure. Listen, thank you for having me. It was really, really great fun.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much for being a beautiful guest on the show today. Thank you very much for your time. And to everyone who has tuned in, to everyone who will tune in later to listen, thank you very much for the energy. Thank you very much for, of course, listening. If you have any question or if you want to explore Bike ID Demo, please visit their website, visit their Twitter, and of course, try out their platform firsthand. Until next time, I come your way. Stay curious, stay building, and of course, see you in the next days. Have a nice day and bye bye.
Bye bye for now.